transportbytractor.com, and today we're going to install a Graves Fender Eliminator on our 2015 Yamaha YZF-R3 project bike. Look at this, okay? This is almost as big as the whole motorcycle, and we need to get it off there. It's really going to clean up the look of this bike quite a bit. This is one of the first modifications anybody makes to their street bike. Graves does a great job. To me, Graves and Yamaha, they are synonymous. They go together, right? The engineering, the fitment, everything, they do a great job. Fender Eliminator on this bike. Pretty basic job. Graves supplies very detailed instructions with photos that really make the project go a whole bunch smoother. So you have this as a resource to use on top of this video. Let's go ahead and let's jump right into this now. Pretty much set up here to do it. We're going to begin by removing this trim panel back here. Got a quick release fastener there, 4mm Allen head. We'll be reusing the stock turn signals. Okay, that's part of the design here. Let's grab our key. We'll use this to release that passenger seat pylon, like so. Comes out like that. Put that off to the side. This little trim panel right here, it's going to pop right out. Put that up here on the toolbox. Come into this little storage tray here in the tail. Got a quick release fastener. Use a Phillips head screwdriver. It releases the push pin by rotating it just a little bit. Same right here. Out that comes. You'll be reusing all those stock fasteners, so keep track of all that. Now we need to remove our rider seat. 8mm bolts here. I gotta tell you, I rode this on the street already, the way back from K&W Cycles over here in Utica, Michigan. That's where we buy all of our bikes from. And I gotta tell you, this is a very capable little street bike, especially after we get some bolt-ons on this thing. I think we're gonna have an amazing motorcycle. All right, rider seat is off. That's gonna get us some access to the wiring that we need to get to for the turn signals, as well as the license plate light. We're gonna go ahead and deal with that while we're in here. Here's the harness that comes up through here. 3 legs of it, one for the right turn, one for the left turn, one for the license plate light. We're gonna move some things out of the way. They're gonna get us good access to the connectors and such for this. Nice clean design back here. Right later here. Get a few things unplugged. It really opens this up quite a bit. And there's our license plate light right here. Like so. We will not be reusing that with the Graves kit. They do not have provision for license plate light. Okay, so that gets eliminated. That's the way it is with most kits. Right now what we can do too is we can determine which turn signal goes on which side. Turn the key on here real quick. Okay, let's see which connector here. Okay, the gray connector is going to be for the left turn signal or the clutch side. That'll just help a little bit with the reassembly, make sure we get everything plugged in the right spot. Okay. Here are the 3 harnesses that need to come off with this. And now we have 3 10mm nuts And use the same Motion Pro spinner T-handle. If you watch any of my videos, you know this is one of the tools that I go to most often. You'll be reusing all 4 of these nuts, so be careful not to drop them. And once you get to the last one, I'm going to recommend that you support the stock Fender because there is some weight to it. This thing is so huge. Tiny little bike with a giant Fender. Look at that bad boy. That's a lot of Fender. Okay, now we need to disassemble this area right in here. Okay, essentially what we've got here is we've got a cover that is protecting the wiring harnesses for the tail lights. I'm sorry, for the rear turn signals and that license plate light. I want to get in there and unhook all this so we can get those turn signals out of there. Trim plate here. And then from here, got a small quantity of, wow, these bad boys are in there made to get something a little more robust than this T-handle for that one fastener there. Save all this stuff. OEM fasteners are great. You may need them down the road. Save all the parts you take off the bike. That's something I really recommend you do all the time. But especially the fasteners. A lot of great uses for them. Okay, now I'll get to the one that does not want to cooperate here. Wow! That one was in there. Okay. So we've got perhaps a couple more screws here. These are all going to be Phillips. One on each side here. This stock rear fender is so big that is actually, by installing this Fender Eliminator, we're going to have a weight reduction benefit on our YZF-R3, which is pretty interesting. That's not something that you would normally think about when you're doing a Fender Eliminator. Okay, go ahead and just dump all the fasteners out of that. I'm going to keep all these parts, of course. Okay, now we've got our stock turn signals. These are the parts that we're after here. We're going to go ahead and feed our wiring harnesses through here, like so. You can already tell we're probably going to have to get a cable tie to tidy up the extra length of the harness for both the turn signals. Okay, now the stock signals, right? The way they're retained in here, you have rubber mounted ends, and then you have a retainer right here. You need to push up on the rubber and then release the retainer. And then you're able to distort this a little bit. And pull it through. You're going to need to reuse all of this. Okay, this is all going to go with us over to our Graves unit. Okay, same deal here. Oops. All right, when we come back, we will begin fitting the turn signals onto our Graves Fender Eliminator. Okay, and remember now, when we started this project, when we got the seat off, we determined that the one with the gray connector was the left side. So this bracket fits on the motorcycle like so. That's going to make this the left side. Go ahead and pull our wiring harness through here. These guys do a great job with this. I mean, they really have some phenomenal bolt-ons here available for all the models, especially the Yamahas. Go ahead and push that through here. It's a lot easier than what we had on the R1 that we're working on right now. The R1, this was really firm and it made it a lot more difficult. The one here on the R3 is a piece of cake. Okay, and then you fit this inside. This is key. This has to be in there properly. If it's not, your turn signal is going to fall out when you're riding. Okay, like so. You see how I got that fit in there. Mirror image on the other side. Wait till you see how this thing fits up in there too. They did a really good job. This and that R1, man, these tag brackets are very well designed. Get that part through there. Retainer. Like so. And those are fit in there just right. Comes with 4 Allen head bolts right here. These are going to feed in through the bottom. So it's going to give you a good clean look, and then you put the nuts on up here at the top. First thing we're going to do is we're going to pass through our turn signals. Okay, I've got the 2 harnesses. They're fed through that hole in the center, right? Good clean look here. Remember, you can use aftermarket signals. Graves has some signals. You're able to move these brackets around. If you don't want to use signals, you got an integrated light, you can unbolt these brackets, no problem. Okay, so there are options here. For today's purpose, we're going to show you the stock. Now I'm going to feed this wiring harness through this back hole right here. Okay, now, if you want to come on down here, Tyler, and take a look at this. Look at what a job these guys did with this. The wiring harness fits up in there perfectly, right? You don't see any of it. There's no pinching of the wires. And I'm going to feed through one of the Allen head bolts, put the nut here on the top. We need to repeat that through the other 3, but man, when that's up in there, that is so clean. You know, you go on this bike from that gigantic Shamu, the killer whale size rear fender, to this. That is a huge improvement. All right. Here is the other one. Okay, now we're going to need to use an Allen for backup, along with our T-handle. These are all locking nuts. It's going to help keep everything in place nicely. Come underneath. Graves supplied fasteners are plenty long enough so you get into the locking portion of the nut. One last fastener here, and then we can begin getting all of our wiring resituated. Like I said, we're going to have some excess here with our turn signals, without a doubt. You can clearly see that. Go ahead and feed these bad boys back down and in. Okay. Let's go ahead and get these two plugged back in. One of the first things we're going to do is check and make sure that we've got this all wired up properly. Left signal, right signal. Okay, we're good to go. This will pull back through here. Controller plug back in here. Really curious to see what Graves is going to come out with for exhaust for the R3. The stuff they came out with on the R1, total home run. Of course, that's what we're running on that bike. Okay. So we're going to feed under here like so. Okay. Now back here, I don't know if we're going to need to use a cable tie here or not. Actually just going to loop it around like so. Gives us a good clean result. Now, seat, when you put your seat on, your rider seat, you want to make sure you get this tongue in this groove, okay? And you'll fit it in there, pull up a little bit, you'll see that you've got it in there. You don't want to be riding around and have the seat come loose. 2 8mm headed fasteners here. Go back to our T-handle, snug these bad boys up. You can see this is not a very big project. You know, you're probably looking at half an hour, 45 minutes. Long end. Storage tray deal. It fits right in there like so. Our 2 clips. Seat is on. We've got that little storage tray in there. Now here's that little trim panel, okay? Kind of dips under the seat here. You got these 2 little tabs here, pick up lightly there. Got these kind of quick release little fasteners here, right? Very coarse threaded. Lock in nice there. And then we're going to have our passenger seat, which is very simple. passenger seat. Go ahead and slide it in like this. A couple of grooves that it's going to ride in here. And my kid is going to be a lot happier when he sees the size of this compared to the one on the R1 that's about the size of a chocolate eclair. So here is what we've got now. I mean, and to really bring this into perspective, let's get a license plate and toss it on there. Give you an idea of the change that we made. Huge. The engineers at Yamaha must have been trying to set the world record for the largest stock Fender ever in the history of motorcycling when they were working on the R3, because man, that bad boy was huge. A lot of requirements and regulations, though, that you do need to meet with stock motorcycles, so it probably has a lot to do with it. All right, this will give you a really good idea of what we've got here, how it's going to look with your license plate on it. Okay, there you have it. From this to this in about a half an hour. Very clean, simple install. If you want to do something different with the signals, we explained there's a lot of options there. I really like the way it turned out, especially how clean it looks in that undertail. Graves did a great job on this. This is the Graves Fender Eliminator install on our 2015 Yamaha YZF-R3 STG project bike.